domain 4, so we might as well do some of those, right? Any area that's been problematic?
I look at domain 4 as being like, if you know it, you know it, but if you don't, it's like a whole, I guess when you look at like scenario questions, it can get very tricky very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm no expert in it either, but we can definitely all kind of problem solve through them a little bit. It's a law of nature. When you do things live, they take longer. So maybe I have some. Okay, good as any place to start. And before we start answering questions, I do want to start to post these for the people who couldn't join and just to encourage people to join them. So I'll chop the video here where we start just talking about study stuff, and be aware if you don't want your voice or face or whatever, just feel free to listen. Is it helpful for anybody if I read the question out loud for everyone and the answers, or should I just leave it up on the screen? Throw a thumbs up or a thumbs down, either way. Okay, I'll read them out. So a network administrator is configuring a new wireless network for a corporate office. The security requirements state that the network must use the most secure authentication and encryption protocols available. Which of the following should be implemented? See some answers coming in the chat here. So this seems like one you kind of just have to know. But process of elimination can definitely get rid of WEP, right? Less depreciated. I have to say, I don't know what these other protocols are. Anybody else? How are you thinking through this? BBB. Okay, let's see what we got. B. Group is right. Let's do another. I'm trying to find some harder ones for us. Okay, let's do this. Organization is experiencing a DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. It's overwhelming its internet bandwidth, which of the following is most effective? There we got a little debate: blacklist the source or reconfigure the firewall. We got one for contact the ISP. Let's see if I can. Okay, lots of D's. We're going D. No, B. Whoever said B, you're a winner.
That Vincent, that was me. So the reason why I chose B in that question, because it's a DDoS attack and that's multiple IPs. So just reconfiguring that firewall won't block those thousands of IPs.
Fantastic point. Thank you. Read this explanation here. During a volumetric DDoS attack that saturates the internet connection, on-premise security devices like firewalls are often ineffective because the malicious traffic overwhelms the circuit before it can be filtered. The ISP has the visibility and capacity to block the attack traffic upstream before it reaches the organization's network. That was good. Learned something there. At least I did. See how I feel about this. A security engineer is designing a secure network architecture for a new data center. The design includes multiple security zones, such as a DMZ, a production network, and a management network. What is the primary purpose of this network segmentation? Let me make a line here so we can. I would as well agree for C. And we're good. I feel like that was kind of a gimme, and so were the other ones we've looked at, which is good for me to understand because I can increase the difficulty of these questions. Let me just see, queue up a few more here. Let's see what new ones we got. All right. Okay, so what's the main advantage of using VPN in a corporate environment? Yep, I feel like we all knew that. Oh, that's funny. I paywalled myself. Okay, we'll go through a few more of these, and then I have some actually difficult ones that maybe we can have a little bit more of a discussion. Okay, so which type of attack is mitigated by using a network intrusion detection system, NIDS? Yeah, I'd have to agree on C. Anybody have anything that differs? Okay. C. Oh. C. So a network intrusion detection system monitors network traffic for suspicious activities and can help detect and mitigate denial of service attacks by identifying unusual traffic patterns. What do we think about this one? Looks like all of us said C, although it was B. What don't we understand about this? Yeah, jump on in there, Alton.
I guess when you deal with intrusion detection, you know, I'm looking at it. Now I see why it was DOS. Because I mean, when you're looking at it, you're looking at the IPs, the various IPs and everything. Like if you deal with Wireshark and everything.
Okay.
So denial service, we just went over denial service with IP addresses, with multiple IP addresses. And so that's why I was looking at. At first, I went man in the middle because I was thinking data in transit, not thinking multiple IP addresses.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I was trying to think what could be inside the network, and then DDoS or DDoS we just looked at, DOS. I'm going to look up a better explanation of that because at least for myself, I don't really understand why that is the case there.
Oh. Huh.
Okay. So the explanation I have, further explained upon by Claude, says that network intrusion detection systems monitor network traffic patterns in real time. So DOS attacks, distributed, create distinctive traffic signatures, usually volume spikes, repeated connection attempts, or abnormal packet patterns. Okay, I can accept that. Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
But isn't it a NIPS instead of a NIDS? Because the NIDS just alerts the administrator. It doesn't actually mitigate a DDoS attack.
Good point. And can help detect and mitigate. Yeah, I would agree with you. Let's see if we can get some deeper explanation. So we know that it wouldn't detect phishing. Modern man-in-the-middle attacks use encrypted connections, network intrusion, can't inspect encrypted traffic. It's potentially one reason. And SQL injection obviously wouldn't be detected by the network intrusion detection. So I think kind of eliminating the others, I understand a little bit more why B is the correct, but I would absolutely agree with the point just made. That it is confusing on first look. All right, I'm going to pull a scenario-based one out of the official guide. I'm going to post it in the community though, just to avoid any copyright stuff. All right, so here's a scenario-based question. Lauren's team of system administrators each deals with hundreds of systems with varying levels of security requirements and finds it difficult to handle the multitude of usernames and passwords they each have. What type of solution should she recommend to ensure that passwords are properly handled and that features like logging and password rotation occur? Guys can either comment on this or drop it in the chat. If you comment on this, actually, we could probably keep better track, but if the chat's more convenient, whatever you're closest to, I'll queue up another one of these here. I'll let you guys noodle that for a moment, although I don't think you'll need to, and try to find an interesting one for us. Yes, A. Right, I got another one here. I think we all said A. Yep. Right. Okay, Amanda's considering the implementation of a database recovery mechanism recommended by a consultant. In the recommended approach, an automated process will move records of transactions from the primary site to a backup site on an hourly basis. What type of database recovery technique is the consultant describing? Let me put a line. This I personally have no idea. I'm gonna go find the answer in this book. So we get BB transaction logging. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any other takers? BBB, just three of us? Return to remote journaling and electronic vaulting. Okay. So let's see what this says. What type of database recovery technique is the consultant describing in the recommended? I mean, just considering the input. All right, are all votes in? Change to A, we got a D. Go ahead, Rebecca. Anybody just jump in if you have a comment.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing. It's not, even though I'm looking at remote journaling, it's not necessarily a mirroring. Mirroring will be happening as it is, which is electronic vaulting, because it says here that on an hourly basis. So if there's an issue, a disaster at the primary, you can lose up to an hour's worth of transaction because it's not happening instantaneous. So that's what's keeping me. Remote journaling and mirroring are essentially the same sort of thing. So I'm confused.
Yeah, I was too. I went and found the answer, so I'll keep my comments to myself unless anyone else has a, because that's how I kind of was thinking through this as well, because off the bat I can, like, I know I don't know what these things are, so let me look back at the question and just see. So I'm doing recovery, that might help me figure out what the answer possibly is. We're looking at an automated process that's happening hourly, a backup site. Those are all kind of things that jumped out at me. Go ahead, Rebecca, and Claudia. Or Rebecca, you had your hand up first, unless you already went.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll
Go
take
ahead.
it.
Claudia?
I
You
think
may be.
okay. I think it's vaulting because vaulting does take place over a time period. So vaulting does have a time component. So you would lose the hour. So it is vaulting. When you read the question, I thought vaulting. That's one of the things that it studied.
Okay, and I'm gonna copy and paste the answer. So it's actually D, according to Mike Chappell at least, but let's see why we say D. So remote journaling transfers transaction logs to a remote site on a more frequent basis than electronic vaulting, typically hourly. Tai, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it actually took me a while. I was just like Rebecca. I was in between electronic votes and remote journaling. The reason is because remote journaling it has to do with read time. So when they say hourly, so that's where the confusion sets in. So hourly, does hourly count as read time? That's the confusing thing there. Yeah.
Does hourly count as read time? Is that what you're thinking about?
Yes. Yeah, that's the reason why it took me a while to come to that conclusion of picking D as the answer, because I was, if it's read time, does hourly basis, does it count as read time? Just like Rebecca mentioned, won't you lose enough data by time, after an hour, there will be a lot of data that will be lost within that period of time.
Right.
I have a comment. I raised my hand, so I
Yes,
don't want to
please.
forget it. So that's why I'm speaking. Pardon the
Go ahead.
interruption. Okay, so one thing I've noticed is many of the terms, terminologies that a DBA would use are not exactly what CISSP use. So maybe managerial, they have something else. So I'm coming from that. And as a result, what is real time? For us, we would call it in the Oracle world, it would be replication. I have not, in all the books, I've not seen replication mentioned. I see mirroring. Mirroring is the same thing. That would be real time.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. In as far as ISC2 is concerned, which is real time. In real time, the transactions are being moved. From what they have written here, it says remote journaling transfers transaction logs to a remote site on a more frequent basis. So this is not replication. This is not mirroring as far as a DBA is concerned. Mirroring would be as soon as it happens on site A, it's happening on site B. That's replication. This is a much more frequent backup, remote journaling from this description. But
Mhm.
what's the definitive description? Is this the definitive description for remote journaling? If it is, then we should strip from our mind replication, because what we're thinking real time is replication. Real time is mirroring,
Mhm.
but remote journaling from this definition is not mirroring.
Yeah, that does help. That helps me at least clarify that. So journaling, more frequent backup. Okay. Another one.
What you need is in the transaction logs. If that is, because that's what you would apply. The tables, the full backup will have much more than that. Here, they are concerned about getting the activities, not the structure of the database. Just wanted to add a little something extra there. Uh-huh.
That's helpful. Let's see what we got. Harold is looking for a software development methodology that will help with a major issue he is seeing in his organization. Currently, developers and operations staff do not work together and are often seen as taking problems and throwing them over the fence to the other team. What technology management approach is designed to alleviate this problem? Interesting question. What technology management approach is designed to alleviate the problem of throwing problems over the fence? Got some variation here. So we got D, D, A, D, 3 Ds and an A.
D. It's
D.
Annette's job. Yeah. So whatever Annette chooses, everyone should choose on this one.
DevOps. All right. It takes me a second to flip to the answer, but I will pull out the official answer for us.
I just have a question for the team. For DevOps, do you need to have like an agile approach implemented before you can have DevOps, or can you still have DevOps without an agile approach?
Feel free to jump in if anyone has some input on that.
It's preferably to have an agile approach for that.
Indeed, it is.
It keeps it more structured.
Right, so Marco wants to deploy a network security device that can detect and stop network-based attacks without additional external intervention. What type of device should he employ and in what configuration? So we want a network device that can detect and stop network-based. Yeah, I would go C as well. Inline IPS is indeed. There's also kind of a gimme. I'm going to jump to the next one. All right, so Nora's company operates servers on a 5-year life cycle. When they reach their end of life, according to that process, the servers are sent to an e-waste recycler. Which of the following is the most effective control that Nora could implement to ensure that a data breach does not occur due to remnant data? B. Thomas, why do you think A?
I thought A because it says that Nora's company operates servers on a 5-year cycle. When they reach their end of life, according to the process, the servers are sent to the e-waste recycler. Which of the following is the most effective control that Nora could implement to ensure that the data breach does not occur due to the remnant data? So I'm choosing A because if we were to pick B, remove the drives and shred them, that means you're shredding them yourself and not sending them to the e-waste cycler. That's why I went with A, to zero wipe the drives before they leave the organization, because the other ones don't really make sense. If you reformat it, it's still going to be remnants. It requires a certificate disposal form that doesn't say if it's, oh, it says from, not form. It doesn't specify if the drives were actually disposed of, so that's why I went with A instead of B.
Yeah, I go ahead, Rebecca.
I could be wrong.
No, I see what you're saying though, Rebecca.
If memory serves, I think this was one of my practice or mock tests on Pocket Prep. I failed it because I chosen reformatting, but I remember the answer being to require certificate of disposal. And after thinking about it, it's having the company be on the hook. So the e-waste recycler, you want them to give you something you can hold up. If something ever happens, you can say, hey, they sent me this and I believe them. So that's kind of like a would that be a due care?
Risk transference, I think.
Yeah, due diligence. Yeah, you having, risk transfer. Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense.
That's the way that I rationalized it after
Mhm.
reading. Yeah. So, but let's see the answer. We'll
Okay.
learn.
Let me find it. Tight, please.
Okay, but if you just require certificate of disposal form, that doesn't answer the question where it says that you should ensure that there's no data breach, because they might say they have the certificate and maybe for some reason they didn't do their job the way it should be, and you end up having a data breach because of the remnant data on the drive. So in that situation, what happens?
In Claudia's famous words, your universe is what's given here. So, the options we're given does not present us with anything else. Wiping would, I'm sorry, was it Jeff who answered? So, A, we can tank. B, will take you outside of what they have, the scenario that's painted. You yourself are doing the disposal rather than the e-waste folks. Reformatting ain't gonna do it either. So the only thing I chose reformatting because I was also thinking the same thing when I did my test, saying what is this certificate? Yeah. But the way that businesses happens, I don't fully know. So someone with the management experience will have to explain to us why having a piece of paper is better. I'm a techie. I would want to do it.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. I'm surprised too. Let's see it.
So I'm looking at if it's going to be reused, if the drive is going to be reused, then A should be the right answer then, because just like so B, right?
Wow, this is the exact same question, and this one is having a different answer.
Yeah, this is the official guide. Direct from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Okay.
I know. Trust me, do I know? I've looked over so many practice questions and now trying to develop some of them and like figure out, I mean, I'm not writing them, but trying to figure out the structure of them to generate them right. It's like, they're confusing.
Yeah.
They're meant to be, I suppose, but I don't know. I've always learned better by just studying the right answer to things instead of going over the wrong answer. But
so if you remove the drive and shred them, which Taya was saying, they've reached, okay, in this case, hold on. Yeah, we're not going through the e-waste recycler unless we're misunderstanding what an e-waste recycle is. Is it just doing electronic? Hey, Jesus, this is English. E-waste recycling, are they just talking about, my goodness, logical versus the physical repository, which is the server? So essentially something that's, no, but even then, even if it's a VM, even if it's virtualized, there's still the physical drive. So I'm
Rebecca, let me take you back home. Let me remind you, Big Bowler. Do you know Big Bowler?
Big what?
Bowler. Bola.
Bola, I don't understand.
Yeah, those people that pick waste bin back home in Nigeria, if you remember.
We call them Kongi harvesters.
Yeah, something like that. So I guess that's what they're referring to. Yeah. So they just try to. But my issue with the question was, if the hard drive is going to be reused, then
Mm-hmm.
shredding it is not going to make sense. But
Yeah.
it will not
Mm-hmm.
make sense.
Okay.
But
Yeah, they didn't say anything about reuse, so I can.
yes, so
So, mhm.
that's why be
Complete destruction, yeah, is gives you much more certainty if there's no need for reuse. Okay. All right then. I suppose they just take one question and tweak it so in different ways. Maybe the other one that I looked at that I failed, they were going to reuse. Who knows?
It's always in the details. So Bet's company uses cloud-based infrastructure that uses a combination of policies and automated security controls to ensure security. The company deploys firewalls, endpoint security tools, and management capabilities to ensure that every virtual system is protected as it is brought online. What term describes this type of implementation? Go on, vote. E. We got a lot of D. We got some A. No, excuse me. We have B, D, D, D.
Sorry, I'm changing mine to B.
B, software
Mhm.
defined security. Whew, yeah, this one. So I just when I think of a software defined network like an SDN, I don't know why this isn't the first thing that comes to mind. There's a part of me that wants to say A, but that's just purely based on how the language reads to me. Let me dig up the answer. As thoughts or comments, feel free to jump in there. Oh, Rebecca, please.
Okay. So, initially I had chosen the software defined network because I saw firewalls and whatnot in there. But on going back to line 1 of the first sentence in the question, it's talking about uses a combination of policies and automated security controls to ensure security. So I feel software defined network is close, but not that close. We're warm there, but really hot when we look at software defined security. So everything, software defined everything is where this falls under. So software-defined security will encompass software-defined network. But I think my batting average right now is 0. Sorry. In all
right
the
behind you.
places I've given answers, they've come out short. So we'll see.
I'm right behind you. I haven't peeked at the answer yet, but I have it on the next page. The only reason I said A is because I thought root of trust, so like cloud-based infrastructure that they're using to secure the company, like one true source of trust for their authentication and stuff. But I could do something wrong. Let's find out. So, B. It was B. I'll put the definition in here.
And the reason also that I settled for B is in a practice question, that was the first time I came across the software defined security. It was like an agile DevOps thing, but they did not want to have to wait for the next folks anytime that the developers needed to manage their WAF.
Okay.
So that was how that was introduced, and it resonated with me because having been involved in maintenance weekends and being at the very bottom, the last thing to come up before users get the stuff, if someone up the chain, the earlier ops teams, the network folks, the sysadmins for the servers, or anybody else is not available, then you can't perform your work. You have to just sit there and wait. So it was cool to see that, oh, you could just do your thing. It's all set up. You click a button and you're done, rather than having to wait. That was my first intro into software-defined security. So I was able to apply it to this instance where the cloud folks could do what they needed to do without having to wait for the network folks.
Makes sense. You guys want to look at one
You're
more?
right, Rebecca. Well, I think the only what changed the question is just that first line when it talks about security control to ensure security. So that was the game changer. That line. If that line were not there, the answer would have been software-defined network.
That makes sense. You guys want to do one more? Or you want to call it thumbs up, thumbs down? Let's do it. All right, let's see if I can find a hard one.
So while you're doing that, Vincent, I've not been able to access the AI application for the question.
I'm sorry.
You asked for our email address the last time, and I posted my email.
Put it in the chat right now. I'll make sure to send you a link to download it. I should have it totally done. Well,
Okay. Thanks.
Totally done soon. 2 weeks. Just one more stumper for the E. All right. So Matt is designing a set of information handling requirements for his organization and would like to draw upon common industry practices. Which of the following practices should Matt implement? Select all that apply. The process of elimination is pretty straightforward on this so far. I would say A and D. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, this could have been a better question. Had they just like actually made these less obvious, I feel like it could have been a much better thought-provoking question.
So, someone who's taking the test, can you remind me, will we come across any questions where we select all that apply? Or is it strictly multiple choice?
I haven't heard of that. Has anyone encountered that? But this is official practice exam. Go ahead, Claudia.
Yeah, I didn't get anything like that. It's just multiple choice, just select the best one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's do one more. Okay, so Rob is reviewing his organization's campus for physical security using the crime prevention through environmental design framework. Which one of the following is not a strategy in this framework? A, okay. Yeah, I would agree with A as well. Let me dig up the answer. I haven't bumped into this framework before. If anybody else has, feel free to expand on it for us, but let me dig up the answer here. Yes, A. Let's read through this. Alton, please.
Yeah, I went through this question with crime prevention through environmental design so many times. I just kind of knew it wasn't intrusion detection because the intrusion detection, even though they have asset control, I knew territory reinforcement was one, surveillance was another. It was between asset control and intrusion detection. But I know asset control could be resources. So intrusion detection and the fact that it's prevention and not detection is also a reason. It was a gimme right there.
That's helpful. Okay. All right. Yeah, how could you do natural intrusion detection? All right. We're a minute over. That was pretty good. Thanks for bearing with me with the new app at first. What do you guys think? Has anyone gotten a chance to use it? I'm going to work on making those questions more difficult, but sometimes you just get into a realm of difficulty that's silly, especially when you're using AI to generate them. But I'm going to keep working on that. Any feedback's always welcomed.
Oh, I forgot to give you my email for the questions and everything. I got both.
All good. I'm going to grab these emails out of chat right now.
Okay.
Good. And then guys, if during the week or during the day, you can just get in the, everybody should be a member of the community. It's so strange how some folks are more study group call people and some people are more in the community, but just like chatting with each other there, participating with new people definitely helps the group out a lot. And that just we got to find new people to come in behind everybody. So whenever you can make a touch point there, it's always super helpful for me. And I've got both your emails. Alton, Jeff. Okay, all. Have a wonderful evening. If there's ever anything I can do to try to help you out, please let me know. I'll do my best. And I'll see you tomorrow if anyone double dips.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for leading. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a fantastic night, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.